Namaskar, I'm Anuradha Singh and you're watching my video channel Weaving Tales. And this is episode 18 of my series Song of Life, a poetic retelling of Mahabharata. As you all know, I have been reading few stanzas from my long poetry Song of Life and then narrating stories relevant to those stanzas from Mahabharata. And I have been reading from my newly released book Musings of a Wandering Mind, which has got 40 poems which are of usual length on varied topics, and the 41st poem is Song of Life, a poetic retelling of Mahabharata. So if you have not got the book till now, please you can buy it on Amazon, Flipkart and many other places. So without wasting any more time, I will start reading my next few stanzas. If you remember, in my last episode, I spoke about how Drona died and then Karna had become the commander of the Kaurava army, and even he died at the hands of Arjuna ultimately. And then what happened thereafter, that I am going to narrate in today's episode. Okay, so let's start. The last day was fierce and fatal for numerous Kuru warriors. The raging Bhimsena tore out Dushasana's arms, which dragged his beloved wife in the court of the Kurus. Tied he her hair with those blood-stained hands. Smashed was the scheming head of Shakuni by Sahadeva. Uluka and his army lost breath at the hands of Nakula. Now they looked for the perpetrator of this war. Duryodhana, who was hiding in a lake, was called out for a duel of mace. Bhima struck Duryodhana on his thighs, a part vulnerable, which were showed to Draupadi lecherously. A tiring duel it was, which was finished for Duryodhana unkindly. Defeated he lay bleeding, counting last breaths. Invoking fury in Ashwathama, Kritavarma and Kripa, the royal sage. Ashwathama, mad with fury at the death of his father, sought revenge abominable, killing the remaining Pandava children while asleep, along with the cold-blooded murder of the fine warriors Drishtadyumna. Revenge has no end, a circle vicious. Fired the insane one with Brahmastra, the young Uttara's wound. The Narayana, furious with Ashwathama, cut his divine jail. At the end of the great war, which lost scores of men, widowed innumerable women, devastated complete towns and villages with not a soul residing, an eerie silence reigned the complete Bharatvarsha, occasionally disturbed by high lamentations of women wailing. The war was won by Pandavas, but it was a win or a loss, a thought flitting their mind frequently. Was killed by Drishtadyumna. As soon as Karna became the commander of the Kaurava army, he was given Shalya as his charioteer. Duryodhana told him, so your whole life you have been ridiculed and belittled, saying that you are a charioteer's son. So today you are the commander of the Kaurava army and you have a king as your charioteer. So obviously Karna was very happy, but he realized that Shalya being the charioteer is no good, because Shalya was, as I had told you before also, that he was the maternal uncle of Nakul and Sahadev. He was Madri's brother and he was being tricked into getting into the Kaurav camp. So, and he had told this to the Pandavas. And at that time itself, Shri Krishna had told Shalya that it doesn't matter, you be there. But you keep on talking about how good the Pandavas are with the Kauravas when the time is correct, when it is required. And this was the time when he was being the charioteer of Karna. Instead of praising Karna, he kept on praising Arjuna, how great a charioteer, how great an archer Arjuna is. So he was actually an irritant for Karna. And as Karna had told Kunti, his actually biological mother, that she will have 5 sons at the end of the war. So even though Nakul, Sahadev, Bhim, Yudhishthir came in front of him, he had battles with them, but he did not kill them. At the end of their battle, he would not kill them, and he would say that I am giving you your life. He would say that. Sometimes I feel that maybe he wanted to tell them that I am your elder brother, but he could not say this. Now he didn't want you to reveal this to them. So he would just say that I am giving you your life. And they realized that the man whom they hated so much is actually the one who is sparing their life. because he only wanted Arjuna. He wanted to kill Arjuna because he was the one between them, like there had been rivalry all their life, and so he wanted to prove to everybody that he is better than Arjuna. So after, so Yudhishthir was angry when it happened with Yudhishthir also, that he spared his life. He said that I'm giving you your life. So uh, he went back to his tent. He was irritated and he went back to his tent on the 16th day. So Arjun saw him from far away that Yudhishthir is going back to the tent, and he was worried about him, and he went behind him. He told Sri Krishna that let's go once back to the tent and see what has happened, if everything is all right. And he asked Yudhishthir. So Yudhishthir thought that if Arjuna is coming back to the tent, that means Karna must be no more. So he asked him, have you killed Karna? So he said, no, I just came to see if everything is all right. And Yudhishthir got angry and he said, you are a coward. Why have you come here? Your duty is on the battleground. You should have killed Karna by now. So for the first time in their complete life, there was a tiff between the brothers. The Pandava brothers never fought with each other, and it was the first time that they fought with each other. But obviously, Sri Krishna was there to soothe them, and he took Arjuna back on the battleground and in front of Karna. They came in front of Karna, and the battle started. So obviously, both of them were great, and with the help of their arrows, they were like making the chariots retreat. But Arjuna was able to retreat Karna's chariot by like 100 yards, and Karna was able to do it only by like 10 or 15 yards. And still, Sri Krishna was praising him. So Arjuna asked him, why are you praising him? I am doing it more than that, twice than what he is doing. So he said, okay, but you have 3 people on your chariot and there are only 2. He said, how? He said, see, I am Nara and Narayan, we 2 are there, and then there is Hanuman on your chariot. And there you can see there are only 2 people. So what he is doing is a commendable job. And then battle kept on going for long hours, and a point came when Karna's wheel got stuck in the mud and blood and gore of that battlefield. It had become very marshy and sticky, and Karna's chariot wheel got stuck. So he told Shalya to get down and free the wheel, but Shalya said, I am a king and I have never done this kind of job, so I will not do it. And they were far away from other soldiers, and they had come to a corner of the battleground. So obviously Karna had to get down, and he told Arjuna that, see, right now I am trying to free the wheel of my chariot, so you cannot do anything. But that was the time, and Sri Krishna provoked Arjuna. He said, what are you looking for? Even if he says so, you cannot stop. He is the one who was also there, who killed Abhimanyu. All of them were present. He was also there. And he was also there who was teasing and ridiculing Draupadi also when she was being disrobed. And you forget all these things. Like this, he provoked him. And obviously Arjun, who was beside himself since the day of Abhimanyu's death, he killed Karna. Karna was trying to remember some astras, but then he remembered this also, that the mantras for the astras will not come to him. That was a curse given to him by Parshuram. But Parshuram, who was resting by keeping his head on Karna's lap, an insect came near him and it started biting Karna. But since his guru was resting, Karna did not move at all, and his thigh was full of blood. And then even Parshuram felt that there is something warm, and he got up and he saw that Karna's complete thigh is being chewed or beaten by an insect. And he knew that Brahmanas can never bear this kind of, they don't have this kind of endurance. This kind of endurance is possible only in Kshatriyas. And he asked him that, I had asked you that are you a Kshatriya, and I do not teach Kshatriyas. And at that time you had said that you are not a Kshatriya. Then how is it possible that you would endure this kind of pain and agony? and still you did not move. That means you lied to me, and you took all the education, all the war strategies, all the education from me by cheating me. So when it is needed to you, when it will be most needed to you, you will not remember any of the mantras to call upon the divine weapons. And that is what happened when he required. That curse of Parshuram came upon him and he could not remember anything, and Arjuna killed Karna. Once Karna was dead, then actually Duryodhan knew that now he's losing his side is losing, and he made Shalya the last general of his army. So then Sri Krishna told Arjuna that now Shalya has to be killed. He is the last general and he has to be killed, and that too by Yudhishthir. So Arjuna asked him why by Yudhishthir. So he told the story that inside Shalya there is a demon, and that demon multiplies its strength if he sees somebody aggressive in front of him. So Yudhishthir is not at all an aggressive person. He is actually a peace-loving person. If he will fight him, the demon's strength will ebb and he will die. So this way we will be able to finish Shalya. So Yudhishthir killed Shalya. So after Shalya's death, Shakuni was there, and Shakuni became the general. And but on that same day, the Kauravas, 99 brothers were dead, as Dushasan also died on the same day. Bhim and Dushasan got into a battle, and as Bhim had taken this vow that he would pull out his Dushasana's arms, that is what he did. He actually pulled out Dushasana's arms in a battle of mace, and there was a duel, and then he went to Draupadi and he braided her hair with those bloody hands. So, and then Nakul and Sahadev killed Shakuni. Now Duryodhan, who knew that his end is near, he went into hiding that that day and night, and then everybody started looking for Duryodhan. So that day Gandhari called Duryodhan to. Duryodhan was in hiding once Dushasan was dead, and all the Pandavas started looking for Duryodhan. And there's a legend which says that much before this war, at the beginning of this war, you can say, Duryodhan many a times he used to go to Gandhari, his mother, to take her blessings, and then he used to go in the war. So at that time she used to always say that let the right side win. So he knew what did his mother meant. So he told his mother that please say that your sons will win. So but Gandhari refused. But then she said that I will give you a boon, and tomorrow night you come to me, and you come without wearing any clothes. So he said okay to her, and he was going towards his mother's where she lived without wearing any clothes. But Sri Krishna met him, and he had come to meet Gandhari, and he was standing outside, and Duryodhan came there, and when he saw Duryodhan naked, he knew what was happening. So he told Duryodhan, why are you coming like this to meet your mother? Are you not ashamed? You are a big boy. You must cover yourself, at least your private parts. So obviously Duryodhan, who was also feeling awkward, he went back and he covered himself. And when he went in front of Gandhari, he said, Mother, I'm there. I'm here in front of you. So she asked him, are you the way I told you? So he said, yes. And she opened her that cloth which had blindfolded her, which she always kept on her eyes. She opened it for the first time in her life, and she started scanning him. And when she saw him, that he's wearing his underpants, he has covered his private parts, she said, I told you that don't come like this. I had asked you to come completely naked, but why did you come like this? So he told what happened, and she said, oh, I knew if you would meet Sri Krishna in between, then what would happen? But now I cannot do anything. I have shielded your complete body with my divine vision, but the part which I could not see remains vulnerable now. So his thighs, till thighs, he was vulnerable. And when these Pandavas now found out that where Duryodhan was, he was like hiding in a lake near Kurukshetra. And then they called him out, that you come out and have a duel with us. You can choose one of us. All five Pandavas were there. So he had to come out. And at that time also he said, I would like to fight with my match. And he chose Bhima. So he had a duel with Bhima, a mace duel with Bhima. And then Sri Krishna just, when the duel kept on, for long hours, it was there for like 6-7 hours had passed, but none of them were like getting defeated. So then Sri Krishna signaled him that Bhim has to hit his thighs. So though it was against the rule that nobody could, in a mace duel, there should not be any blows hit on the thighs of a person under the belt. But then Bhima did that because that was the area which was vulnerable, which was not seen by Gandhari. And he kept hitting Duryodhana on his thighs. And this way he got wounded and he fell down. And he was in the throes of death. He died, like he was not able to stand and he was like lying on the ground. And they were like, the Pandavas were happy and they had won the war and they were going back to their camp. He cried out, Duryodhana cried out, that all my life I lived like a prince, a king, in great, luxury. And all your life you were in forest, you lived your life in forest. So who had a better life? Okay, now I'm dying a warrior's death on the battleground. So my death is also even better than you people. But obviously they left him there and they went back. And in the Kaurav camp there was a lot of revelry and fun and frolic, and preparations were being done to enjoy that night of victory. Now, who were left on the Kaurav side? Only Ashwathama and Kripacharya, they were left. And they came to meet Duryodhan. They were hiding in the forest. And Ashwathama said, I have to take revenge of my father's death. You make me general of your army. And while dying, he made him, Ashwathama was made the general of the army. And he did something unconceivable by human imagination in those days. So that night, everybody knew that there could be some wrongdoing. So Sri Krishna took all the five Pandavas away from that camp. But in that camp that night were Draupadi's 5 sons, and even Drishtadyumna was there and could attack the Pandava camp in the night time. And he and Kripacharya entered in the night time, and he beheaded those people who were sleeping. And there were like 5 children of Draupadi, and he thought these are the 5 Pandavas, and he beheaded them. And he also killed Drishtadyumna also. And then he put the complete camp on fire. And he went back to Duryodhana and he told them, see, I have killed all the 5 Pandavas. So Duryodhana said, okay, show me Bhima's head. And the head which he thought was Bhima's, he gave it to Duryodhana. And Duryodhana crushed it like a coconut. And then he said, no, but I am finding this weak. It cannot be Bhima's head. And he asked Kripacharya to see it closely. And when Kripacharya saw it, he said, these seem to be so young. These are not the Pandava heads. And then Duryodhana felt very bad, and he felt, are we now reduced to killing children? And then Ashwathama realized that he had killed Draupadi's sons. And the next day, obviously in the morning, there was like the rage, anarchy and whatnot, grief and lots of weeping, and it was bad in the Pandava camp when they saw that the complete camp is on fire and so many people have died. And then Ashwathama obviously ran away from there, and then they came to know that who had done it. It was Ashwathama's work. So everybody started looking for Ashwathama. Now Ashwathama had lost his sanity, and when he saw that the Pandavas are chasing him, since he was son of Dronacharya had given all the knowledge of warfare and divine weapons and strategies to Ashwathama. And so Ashwathama shot Brahmastra on Uttara's womb, because she was the only at that time she was pregnant with Abhimanyu's son, and he knew it, and he wanted to decimate the complete heirs of the Pandavas. So only, but Shri Krishna could stop it, and Shri Krishna obviously stopped the Brahmastra from falling on Uttara's womb, and so Shri Krishna was extremely angry with Ashwathama, and he took out the gem which was on his head. Ashwathama was born with a gem on his forehead. He cut it out. Ashwathama was captured and he cut it out. And he said he is an immortal. It is said Ashwathama is an immortal. And he said that your wound will never be filled, and you will keep on asking for oil for that, filling that wound. And he let him go. So this is how the Mahabharat war came to an end. Stop my narration over here, and in my next episode we will see what happened after the war. So if you like my stories, do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.